Scenarios. The content that follows is what would hypothetically be the speech I've prepared to give my fellow colleagues of Year 10 classes regarding the planning of new units and the school's directed focus toward covering general capabilities in the most effective possible way. Today we have gathered to begin the planning of our core units. However, the learning objective for today is to also understand our impact on students' preparation and development so they can fully immerse themselves into the 21st century's young adults. For those that have become unfamiliar, general capabilities, on an overview basis, as Peterson underlined it to be, is a set of various skills and values where educators in Australia prepare students for life in the 21st century, as students need to acquire the knowledge and skills to assist them in being active and engaged citizens. A large contributing factor toward understanding general capabilities within an educational setting is understanding the true purpose and influence of literacy and numeracy within the curriculum. Professor Joseph Lowe Bianco withholds that literacy is a central point for students' personal development and career pathways, therefore a vital role in secondary education, of which we are in control of. Additionally, Mr. Don Markovic from Cavendish Road State High School withholds the view that numeracy needs to be looked at in regards to real-life situations for students to best be equipped for adult life, whatever that may bring. We as a school need to pay attention to these factors and be mindful when planning new units and activities. As we dive into planning our literacy and numeracy units for this year, we need to keep in mind the sole importance that general capabilities has on our students' overall development. For those of you planning English units, I have prepared possible examples that could kickstart authentic experiences for the students from a literacy viewpoint. The possible ideas for further discussion are prompting an activity via having the students writing an essay discussing and providing a solution for a largely affecting issue within society or the world. This requires them to research, engage with a topic of their choice, and gets them to think critically about the world around them and how their sole actions can have a big impact. Another activity could be the proposal of class speeches on a topic in the news. This teaches them communication skills alongside knowledge of events around them. The development of confidence around their peers can aid them in future situations at work where they will be required to present ideas. The preparation and understanding of key elements within a speech and the control of tone is a key element toward a well-rounded individual. Group activities such as collaborating together in the form of presenting a poster on a character profile directed toward a novel that the class has recently studied. It can also be shared with the class, where each individual can gain a new piece of information and is an effective way of getting everyone involved. Group work allows exposure and experience with different individuals to whom they would not usually interact with, which is foreshadowed in adult life through dealing, meeting, and satisfying clients, new individuals in their personal lives, and colleagues. Activities such as the ones discussed allow each student to grasp a feeling of assertion within their own skills as young individuals and educated citizens. These skill-building activities with focus toward improving their literacy skills in an effective way of satisfying educational requirements alongside real-life understanding. From a literacy standpoint, the literacy general capabilities continuum will be of great focus. I have designed each activity with the Year 10 cohort in mind, as this age sparks great transitions as they begin to move into adulthood. Satisfying all elements on the continuum will be key progress for us today, and possible activity ideas are as follows. Budgeting and assertion of bills, allowing students to plan their birthday party with a specific budget. This will require using measurements to estimate how much food and drink each individual is forecasted to consume. Real-life scenarios such as these are easiest for students to relate to and therefore encourage a deeper level of connection with the given content. This gets them to critically think about how specific data is used and how it affects their daily lives and budgets as adults. Spatial reasoning. Plan your dream home with measurements and reference to real-life scale and correct measurements. Each home must have a pool, and therefore you must know how much water it can take. Show you're working out on the side. Your pool can be as large as you want it to be. Interpreting statistical information. You are shopping around for a better internet plan. One plan at store A is $55 per month and ensures that through busy periods between 7 to 8 a.m. and 5 to 8 p.m. that your internet speed will run no less than 65% of its maximum speed. Store B charges $80 per month, and that ensures that your internet speed will run at 72% of its maximum speed during busy periods. However, their max speed is 30% less than Store A. Weigh up your options and justify your choice. You earn $180 per week at your part-time job. You are aware that your 18th is coming up and that you will need to save in order to satisfy all your birthday wishes. You have 3 more pays until your big night, factoring in event hire, food and beverages for all your guests, cups, napkins, DJ, and anything else you desire. Show your plan and working out with reference to real venue hire prices. Event planning gets students to think critically about how many guests are realistic for their social gathering and furthermore the needs of their guests. This also develops the understanding that budgeting is needed in order to afford the most important things without being left with no money for bills and other day-to-day expenses. Doing these activities impacts future decision-making skills for students and allow them to have as much exposure and preparation in their late teenage years. The rest of the discussion is now up to you guys. Break into method areas and pinpoint your key focus areas. Scenario 2. Before I begin planning the new year for my literacy class, it is brought to my attention that Jennifer's literacy grades from last term indicate that she is in fact 3 years behind the expected level for her age. My main goal for this planning is to ensure that Jennifer does not feel any different to her classmates and that her skills are being exercised in a way that will encourage her to perform at a higher level in future. This new information largely impacts the planning of my classes through many contributing factors such as Jennifer requiring more help and support, needing greater time frames to grasp specific activities and possibly requiring simplified work to the rest of the class. Before planning were to progress any further, I would need to assess the possibility of having an aide granted to work alongside Jennifer. It is obvious that this student needs excessive support and therefore could require differentiated books to study than of other students. This could mean that Jennifer needs additional help with reading the chosen book and extra direction when discussing the themes and other features that book offers. In hopes that an aid would be granted, this would mean that I carry on planning classes as usual and making a specialised plan for Jennifer with great effort to support the development of her literacy skills. If I were to be granted an aid, I would configure her altered learning plans with her aid in order to make sure that together we're both successfully meeting her needs from a literacy standpoint and paying attention to all skills that is lacking. It is important that Jennifer does not feel any different than the rest of her classmates, and therefore we will have great attention toward including her in class discussions and other activities that should be kept in mind. An interesting element underlined by Lambert and Jackson is the need to self-evaluate and self-assess one's own teaching behaviours to ensure students' learning needs are best being met and challenged in a variety of ways. On top of other demands, it is important that I plan many classes that allow myself to be readily available through encouraging independent learning activities, which gives the opportunity to walk around the classroom to see the progress of each student and be available to aid any student's queries. This would therefore ensure that students are feeling comfortable and welcome to ask their own individual questions regarding the work and minimises possible opportunity for students to fall behind due to lack of understanding. Bentham underlines how altering the learning environment can heavily impact on a student's ability to learn and retain new information. This could be addressed through having seating plans in order to ensure that Jennifer is surrounded with students that will not provide distraction, without such decisions being obvious to other students. Furthermore, in a more extreme measure, she could require her own work zone, that is, in a quiet environment in order for her to best achieve her most successful results. This would be entirely dependent on the needs of individual students. These factors largely influence my planning through group work and other class activities that may have been suitable for most. However, my goal is to target activities that suit all of my students. Therefore, with new focus toward tone control, these plans could be altered in order to manipulate the control of the class in a more effective manner and one that includes more independent work so students are less distracted. Another possible option could be that I configure table groups that are all similar in regards to the level of literacy skill they are at. Each table would be of similar level to one another, making meeting the demands of specific students easier and therefore making students of all levels comfortable. Another factor toward my planning would be the involvement and support that Jennifer's parents have toward her learning experiences. A meeting could be scheduled in order to discuss Jennifer's current level and what I have planned in order to move forward with her progress. Providing that her parents are happy to do so, I could set Jennifer additional homework where her parents could be of assistance to her. This impacts the planning of my classes because extra time would be taken out to suit all the needs of various learners and effectively planning classes that challenge students that are further progressed with their literacy skills and others that need more attention. Overall, the most important factors that truly influence my planning is the possibility of Jennifer having an aide, which would greatly simplify the realm of students that I am trying to design my classes around. With this new information, I can further understand Jennifer's needs as a student, and I can make multiple decisions in order to get her the help that she needs. Lastly, understanding Jennifer's needs and the impact that they have on the rest of the class is of utmost importance, and I would slowly shift the class dynamics for semester 2 so students can comfortably transition into a more tone-controlled and individual workspace. Scenario 3. Before beginning, it is important to note that Scenario 3 will be written from a standpoint of an English teacher, and that is my key method area. As we were not given a name to reference a student, I have referred to them as Student A. Following on from Student A's mother's inquiry toward how I am best catering to incorporating mathematics alongside English, I'd be very aware of the tone I'm using, as that is key toward a smooth communication experience. Before I get started, as Douglas and Whitaker in Study Guide to Dealing with Difficult Parents underline, if we as educators establish trust, then parents allow great discretion in the decisions we make with their children. The content that follows has great attention toward offering to build a strong relationship with this student's parents through offering greater insight toward the school's literacy unit and the purpose of it. I would open with, that is a great question and I'm glad that you have asked that. Through my focus being solely toward educating and challenging my students' English skills, I do not incorporate as much mathematics as typical math subjects would. I also shy away from equations in order to cater to all students at various levels. Furthermore, however, we enjoy including reading, analysing and interpreting data in written forms through our units and encourage student understanding through referring to drawing up timelines for further insight. We are also limited toward how much reference to maths we can include through the extreme deadlines that force our focus to prioritise English content. It is also important that student A is getting the correct direction from an expert teacher in that realm of education, as my knowledge is somewhat limited when it comes to aiding students on math work. I would like to underline that we are doing everything we can to best prepare student A for their working life, and we have focused toward controlling literacy skills that greatly determines one's career pathway. James in Critical Literacy's Ongoing Importance for Education pertains that literacy skills are one of those that largely contributes to one's position in society and therefore how deeply they can connect and understand with the information that society gives. To become a meaningful individual in the 21st century society, it is imperative that one understands law, government, and other largely contributing factors that affect all citizens, which is a strong motivator behind the content we expose student A to. It would be foolish of me to not condone student A's work ethic and overall results in my class, and that I can most certainly give you the confidence that she is achieving at a high level. for their age expectancy in literacy performance. If it is of serious interest to you, I would be more than happy to set more homework-based questions and activities directed toward using math and English skills in the same questions, if that is of concern. Before we finish up our meeting today, do you have any further questions, queries, requests, as we would be more than happy to facilitate them? I would recommend a face-to-face interview with student A's mathematical teacher in order for you to most be at peace with student A's progress across the board. Please do let me know your thoughts and email me at any time with any questions or requests you may have. I deeply care about your satisfaction and student A's development. As pictured here, it is just my references that I used along the way.